Hello everyone, Natsuki here. It really has been a while since we last talked, but I had a lot going on lately. Now that all that stress is finally over, we can get back to analyzing. We did miss quite a bit, so to catch up, at the time I'm making this, Foggy just dropped the full Season 4 of Skibidi Nexus. My current plan is to focus on getting to the newest episodes instead of switching back and forth, because I noticed that doing both Shocker Wars and Nexus at the same time really slowed things down. So today, we're analyzing Skibidi Nexus Episode 7. And yeah, this one is long and crazy, with a length of around 12 minutes. There is a lot to break down, but honestly, that doesn't surprise me, since Episode 7 was the first one Foggy split into multiple parts, and it has 3 parts in total. We're going to analyze the full episode, including hidden details and the added secret scene. And I can already tell you, the next few episodes we're about to cover are going to be fire. So let's get started. Episode 7 starts off immediately with tension, and I really like that Foggy didn't waste time throwing us into action, but instead gave us character conflict first. We begin with a new POV cameraman arguing with scientist TV man, and even though we don't hear every detail clearly, it's obvious what the topic is about. The parasite toilets. Our POV seems to want to do something risky, maybe save or use infected units, while scientist TV man completely shuts that idea down. When he says, "Are you insane? We won't risk being infected for that worthless trash." That line is actually really important. It shows his mindset. He doesn't just see infected units as a threat, he sees them as completely disposable. And that might also hint that he looks down on cameramen or even speakermen who get infected. That's a pretty cold and dangerous mentality. Then things escalate. Our POV cameraman straight up punches him. That moment surprised me, because it shows how serious this disagreement is. But scientist, TV man instantly activates his blue glow and tells him to back off, re-establishing control. It's a clear power dynamic. No matter how emotional the cameraman gets, scientist TV man is still in charge here. What's interesting though, is that the argument doesn't fully explode. It just pauses, and that tells me this conflict is not over. It's just being pushed aside for now. Right after that, scientist TV man teleports both of them away. And this is where the scale of the episode really opens up. We see a massive battlefield, with the Alliance fighting the toilets. And there are a lot of familiar faces here. Body Collector Toilet is present, Large Speaker Woman is there, and multiple Alliance units are actively engaged in combat. This scene is important because it reminds us that while the characters are arguing, the war is still going on everywhere. Then scientist TV man brings us to a completely different location, the Titan core station, and this is huge lore. He literally says this is their main core station, a hidden place the enemies cannot find, and it's the key to starting the Titans. That line alone changes everything. This means the Titans are not just randomly appearing. They are being prepared, maybe even built or powered up from this exact location. It also means if the toilets ever discover this place, it could be game over for the Alliance. And just as we're processing all that information, Foggy adds another twist. A captured toilet suddenly starts speaking, saying, After the toilet said this, things go wrong immediately. The captured toilet suddenly starts screaming. And this is not just random noise. It's actually really similar to those old Skibidi toilets from earlier episodes that kept repeating Skibidi over and over, basically like a signal, an SOS call. So what this toilet is doing here is calling for backup. Scientist TV man instantly realizes that and panics, shouting "shut up," and activates a flame screen on the TV next to the toilet, burning it, but it's already too late. The signal is out. The toilets now know where they are. And this moment is important because it shows that even in a hidden, secure location, like the Titan core station, they are not completely safe. Right after that, Shadow TV man steps in and gives our POV a mission. Bring a camera to Dark Speakerman, so we move and deliver it. And this is where we switch POV again. Now we are in Dark Speakerman's perspective, and the action starts instantly. A toilet tries to ambush Chief Scientist Cameraman, but he just eliminates it with a laser shot from his lens. That upgrade is actually really smart. It gives him instant defense without needing extra weapons. Then 2 more toilets rush in, and before we can react, something hits us and explodes, knocking us down. That shows how chaotic the battlefield is. You don't even always see what hits you. The toilet responsible gets taken out by Shadow TV man, showing again how clutch he is in these situations. We get back up and immediately counterattack. a plain toilet comes in, and Dark Speakerman uses a sonic scream to destroy it midair. That was a really clean moment. After that, we crash down, and then Large TV Man appears. He says that most of the toilets are outside, and suggests we check what's happening there. So again, POV switch. Now we see a squad of cameramen with laser upgrades holding the line. They've clearly taken down a lot of toilets already, but at the same time, we see destroyed units and damage on their side too. So even though they are winning here, it's not an easy fight. And something I also noticed here is exactly what you mentioned. Where are the chainsaw units? This is a major battle, but we only see cameramen defending this area. That could mean the other units are either fighting somewhere else, or something bigger is happening off screen. Then the situation escalates again. The ground starts shaking, and then he arrives, G-Toilet 2.0, with his 2 lasers and jetpack. He instantly feels like a massive threat. He points his laser directly at us, ready to eliminate the POV. But before he can fire, a warp opens, and an Astro Obliterator appears. And his line, "It's time to pay the price," is just cold. He's not here to play around. He's here to take G-Toilet down. And just like that, the focus shifts from defense to a full-on boss-level confrontation. The battle between the Astro Obliterator and G-Toilet 2.0 starts immediately, and the Obliterator goes in aggressively, firing plasma shots. One of them lands clean and destroys G-Toilet's glasses, which is actually a huge detail, because those glasses always felt like part of his identity and maybe even protection. But G-Toilet answers in a really unexpected way. Instead of dodging, he launches himself forward using his jetpack, turning defense into offense. The Obliterator fires 3 more plasma shots, but G-Toilet just tanks them, laughs and fires back with his lasers. That alone already shows how much stronger G-Toilet has become. The Obliterator blocks using his spotlights, but they get partly destroyed. And then comes his strongest move. He sends his core, fully charged with energy, directly at G-Toilet. That hit is massive. G-Toilet is heavily damaged, and then suddenly teleports away. This is the first time we ever see G-Toilet teleport. That raises a lot of questions. Is this really him, or just a decoy? We can't confirm it yet, but it definitely feels suspicious. Right after that, another Obliterator appears, but he instantly gets hit by 2 plasma shots. He counters with 3 shots, but they get deflected. And this is where things get insane. The female mutant titan arrives, fully upgraded, and honestly, her design is one of the best we've seen. 6 red Astro lasers across her body, a buzzsaw shield, her arm laser still intact, and now she's wearing an Obliterator-style helmet. She looks absolutely powerful. She immediately attacks, firing all 6 lasers and following up with a 7th shot from her arm. Even then, the Obliterator barely escapes by warping away. We fly closer, and she shows her face, confirming it's really her. But the fight is far from over. The Obliterator suddenly returns and rams into her, and our POV gets caught in the impact, almost dying as he warps away again. This constant warping makes him extremely dangerous and unpredictable. Then we switch to Body Collector Toilet's POV, and this part is honestly one of my favorites. He takes down a toilet easily, and then a damaged Obliterator appears. And instead of running, he actually fights him. A speaker copter comes in clutch with a sound wave, giving Body Collector the opening to attack. He flies in and destroys the Obliterator's glasses with his buzzsaw, then dodges multiple plasma shots with ease. Because of his small size, he's way harder to hit, and he uses that perfectly. He cuts into the Obliterator's eye, making it bleed, dodges a bite attack, and even goes for the neck. But here's the problem. The Obliterator's durability is just too high. The attack isn't enough to finish him. The Obliterator headbutts him, then sends his core straight at him and warps away. The explosion hits hard. Our camera falls off, and we see Body Collector badly damaged, electrified and burning, but not fully destroyed. So there's still hope he survives. As the drone tries to retreat, the Obliterator comes back again, ready to finish everything. But then she returns. The female mutant titan jumps back in, ramming into him and firing multiple plasma shots, pushing him further to his limits. The Obliterator, clearly desperate now, says you can't win this fight, and fires again, but this time, she activates an electrical shield and blocks everything. And her response is just perfect. Really, don't you think it's the opposite? That line alone shows her confidence. She knows she's winning. The Obliterator tries one last desperate ram, but she blocks it again and jumps back, saying see you in hell. And then comes the final moment. An alarm goes off. The Obliterator looks up, and an acid nuke is already coming down. It hits and completely obliterates him. And just like that, the fight ends. But the real question now is what happened to Body Collector after that blast? Because if he survives this, he might become's crazy upgrade. We get another location switch, this time back into the big city. And this part really shows how chaotic the war has become on a global scale. We see a cameraman squad actively fighting multiple toilets. And there are a lot of small details here that make the scene feel alive. One of the large cameramen is going completely wild, picking up a burning car and throwing it straight into the toilets. That's not just strength, that's desperation. They are using everything they have. At the same time, another cameraman flies off, possibly repositioning or retreating, while a second large cameraman jumps directly onto a bald toilet and eliminates him instantly. So even in chaos, the alliance is still effective. Then a bigger toilet arrives, raising the stakes again. But something interesting happens. A black engineer cameraman stuns a smaller toilet on the bridge near us, and then just walks away. That moment feels very intentional. It's like he has a different priority, maybe something more important than just fighting random enemies. But then everything changes. Everyone suddenly looks up, and you can feel it before you even see it. G-Toilet arrives. He crashes into the battlefield, clearly injured, and slams a camera strider away like it's nothing. But he's not alone. Right behind him are Astro Assailant and 2 Obliterators. And Astro Assailant's line is cold. We won't play games. This planet now belongs to us, and we will exterminate you like the rest. That confirms something huge. This is no longer just a war between the Alliance and the toilets. The Astros are claiming the entire planet. One of the Obliterators warps away, likely chasing another target, while Assailant directly engages G-Toilet. The third Obliterator starts attacking the area, firing at both a large Skibidi toilet and our POV, knocking us down instantly. And this is where we switch POV again. We are back as a drone. And the broken screen TV man we saw earlier in the core station is now repairing us. He attaches us, and now we see everything through his perspective. This is a really interesting detail. Even damaged units are still being used in critical roles. While moving, we get attacked by an infected cameraman, and the TV man immediately eliminates him. And this moment is actually pretty sad. Normally, they might try to save or uninfect him, but because the screen is broken, it would be too risky or impossible. So he has no choice but to kill him. That connects back to the earlier argument with Scientist TV Man. Infected units are treated as lost. Then we teleport again to another part of the city. And here we see him, G-Toilet's upgraded ally from the last episode. He steps in and blocks one of the Obliterators from chasing G-Toilet further. This confirms loyalty. He's actively protecting him. The Obliterator tries to overwhelm him using spotlights to blind him. But the upgraded toilet actually counters this in a really smart way. He closes his eyes and rams straight into the Obliterator, destroying the spotlight. But it comes at a cost. He loses one of his lasers in the process. The fight continues, and the Obliterator goes all out. 3 plasma shots at once, destroying the middle shield. Then a warp ram breaks the right shield. Another ram destroys the left shield. At this point, the upgraded toilet is almost fully exposed. The Obliterator goes for a final attack from behind. But this is where the tide turns. G-Toilet's ally reacts in time, turns around, and counters. He fires his remaining laser and combines it with a blue laser from his eyes, forcing the Obliterator to retreat. That moment is huge. It proves that even against Astro units, some of these upgraded toilets can still fight back. And while his last laser falls off, he teleports away, clearly weakened. And then, in a completely different environment, an ice area, he suddenly gets ambushed again, and right at that moment, the POV switches again. After that intense sequence, the episode goes into multiple POV switches. And this part really shows how chaotic and desperate the situation has become everywhere at once. We even hear large TV man in the background asking what is going on here. And you can clearly hear the concern in his voice. Even someone like him, who usually stays calm, is starting to realize that things are getting out of control. The first POV we get is an injured cameraman. He's barely holding on and asks a nearby TV man for help. And this is where things get dark. The TV man is almost completely destroyed. His head basically gone, and instead of helping, he just says, "Sorry, I'm not helping you," and teleports away. That moment says a lot. Either he physically can't help, or the situation has become so bad that survival comes first, even for the Alliance. Our POV reacts by showing him the middle finger, which is honestly a very human reaction in that moment. But right after that, he gets eliminated by an Astro Agent toilet. No time to breathe, no time to recover. Just instant death. Then we switch again, and this time we see a massive Astro Carrier toilet arriving. This thing looks like a walking war machine, charging up its lasers, ready to wipe everything out in the area. But before it can do that, Speaker Woman suddenly appears and grabs our POV, throwing us into the mines. That move likely saved us, because staying there would have meant instant death. Next POV, and things are already critical again. We see Chainsaw Woman, injured and about to be killed by an Astro troop. And honestly, that Astro makes a huge mistake, because right before he can finish her, Scientist TV Man appears. And this is such a big moment. Even though he's considered a traitor by many, he still saves her. And Foggy confirmed something really important here. When they were still human, they were together. That adds so much depth to this scene. Scientist TV Man uses his blue glow, forcing the Astro Troop to drop his upgrades, basically disarming him. Then he activates the red screen, trying to eliminate him, but the Astro resists. And that's where Chainsaw Woman comes in. She uses that opening, jumps forward, and drives her chainsaw straight into the Astro's head, finishing him. That teamwork moment was perfect. It shows that even with all the chaos and betrayal, some bonds are still there. Then we switch POV again, and suddenly Vacuum Toilet tries to attack us, but our POV reacts fast, dodging to the side and avoiding the hit. And then we see something really interesting. Multiple engineer cameramen are repairing a fake rocket G-toilet. This is huge. From what we know, some toilets can be infected or controlled, so this might not just be repair work. This could be part of a bigger plan, maybe a trap, maybe a decoy, or even something meant to confuse the Astros. And in the middle of all this, Shadow TV Man is there, guiding the engineers, showing that this operation is highly coordinated. And now, we move into the final part of the episode. G-Toilet arrives again at the location, where our new POV cameraman is still present. And right behind him, Astro Assailant is still chasing him. And just from that setup alone, you can tell that the next moment is going to decide everything. And now, we reach the final part of episode 7. And this is where everything turns dark really fast. Astro Assailant continues chasing G-Toilet and says, "Don't be so afraid. We will destroy you quickly." That line already shows his confidence. He doesn't see G-Toilet as a threat anymore, just as something to finish. G-Toilet tries to ram him, but Assailant dodges easily and fires a plasma shot. But then something unexpected happens. An acid toilet suddenly crashes into Assailant, sacrificing itself and exploding on impact. That actually damages Assailant a bit and creates an opening. G-Toilet takes that chance instantly. He flies in and smashes Assailant's head with the back of his toilet, while firing his laser eyes. That combo attack was actually really strong and well-timed. But Assailant is still on another level. He warps and rams G-Toilet, stopping his momentum completely. Then another bald toilet joins in and crashes into Assailant, trying to help, but it doesn't last long. Assailant warps again and counters with a plasma shot, killing it instantly. And then things escalate even more. Assailant gets back up. 2 obliterators arrive. And now the situation becomes almost impossible for G-Toilet. And Assailant even says something really important. "Even if I die, Duke will come for you." That line is huge lore. It confirms that there is someone above Assailant, someone called Duke. And if Assailant is already this strong, then Duke might be on a completely different level. Assailant then calls for help directly, saying, "I think I need some help here." That alone shows that even he respects G-Toilet enough to not underestimate him anymore. G-Toilet tries to escape, but Assailant says you won't go anywhere and warps after him. And then suddenly, everything changes. The screen goes dark, black smoke appears, and then he shows up. The demon cameraman, without any warning. He walks in and hits our POV with a scythe. A TV man tries to save us using a flame glow, but it has no effect at all. That alone makes Demon Cameraman extremely dangerous, because he is immune to attacks that usually work. He destroys the TV man without effort, and then eliminates our POV. This moment raises so many questions. Who is he? Why is he attacking the Alliance? Is he controlled, or is he acting on his own? Right now, he feels like a completely new threat that doesn't belong to either side. And just when you think the episode is over, we get the secret scene. We are back with Large TV Man and Dark Speakerman as our POV again. Large TV Man tells him to check on Titan Speakerman, saying he has something important to do. That line feels like setup for something big in the next episode. Then we get a quick switch to female Mutant Titan again. She's still fighting, taking on an Astro X-Wing and even luring obliterators into a trap filled with acid nukes. That just shows how strategic and powerful she has become. And then comes the final and darkest part of the episode. We switch to human POV. A scientist. This is huge, because we almost never see humans directly anymore. He looks confused and asks where he is. Then Scientist TV Man appears, and the conversation that follows changes everything. The human says, "Wait, you are one of the subjects." And Scientist TV Man replies, "You are the subject here. Not me. You will regret the pain you caused to us all. You created the Nexus, so you will die to fix it." That confirms it. The Nexus was created by humans, and Scientist TV Man was once one of their test subjects. Without hesitation, Large TV Man activates the red screen. We see blood, we hear the scientists screaming, and there is no emotion at all from them. The camera, which the scientist was wearing, captures everything as he slowly dies, and then it shuts off. And that's how episode 7 ends. Not with a battle, but with revenge. And honestly, this ending completely changes how we see the story. This entire episode shows us that the war is completely out of control. We started with internal conflict inside the Alliance, especially with Scientist TV Man showing a very cold mindset toward infected units. Then we learned about the Titan core station, which is basically the key to activating the Titans, meaning if that place falls, the Alliance is done. After that, everything escalates. The toilets find the base, massive battles break out, and we get multiple POVs showing how chaotic the situation is everywhere. G-Toilet is getting hunted by Astro Assailant and the Obliterators, while new characters like the female mutant Titan prove that some units can actually fight back against the Astros. But even then, the Astros feel like a completely different level. They are organized, they have hierarchy, and now we even know there is someone above Assailant called Duke. At the same time, we see emotional moments like Scientist TV Man saving Chainsaw Woman, hinting at their past as humans, while other moments show how brutal the war has become, like leaving injured units behind or instantly eliminating infected allies. And then the biggest twist, the demon cameraman appears out of nowhere, attacking the Alliance itself. And finally, the secret scene confirms that humans created the Nexus, and the Alliance is basically the result of experiments and suffering caused by them. Now let's get into the theory. I think episode 7 is setting up 3 major directions for the story. First, the Astros are about to take over completely. Assailant already said the planet belongs to them. And if Duke actually appears, then we're probably going to see an even stronger leader unit that could overpower both the Alliance and the toilets. This might turn the war into a 3-sided conflict where nobody is really in control anymore. Second, G-Toilet might not be what we think he is. The fact that he suddenly can teleport and survived attacks that should have destroyed him makes me think that there could be multiple versions of him, or at least some kind of decoy system. That fake rocket G-Toilet being repaired also supports this idea. The toilets might be trying to confuse the Astros and protect the real one. And third, the demon cameraman. This might be the biggest threat of all. He doesn't act like Alliance or Astro. He attacked both without hesitation and even resisted abilities that normally work on enemies. My theory is that he is either a failed experiment from the Nexus or something that broke free from control. If that's true, he could become a wild card that attacks everyone, making the situation even worse. And one more important thing, the human scientist getting killed confirms that this entire war started because of human experiments. That means the Alliance is not just fighting enemies, they are fighting the consequences of their own creation. So for episode 8, I think we will see 3 things. The Astros pushing harder, possibly with Duke being introduced, G-Toilet either revealing his true power or being exposed as a decoy, and the demon cameraman starting to play a bigger role as a third force. And if all of that happens at the same time, then the next episode is going to be even more chaotic than this one. And yeah, that's it for today. Hope to see you in the next Analyse.